Do you guys remember when the Star Wars aisle used to look like this? Nowadays, it looks like this. Maybe a few lonely BlackSeries figures and a few lonely Vintage Collection figures swinging on the pegs. The 2005 release of Revenge of the Sith was the peak of action figure releases. The toy aisle has never looked better, and unfortunately, ever since then, it's only gotten worse. The beginning of this set releasing in stores marked the peak of the golden age for Star Wars action figures. Because from 2005 all the way through 2014, the Star Wars toy aisle was always filled to the brim with amazing articulated action figures. Whether it was Revenge of the Sith or the Clone Wars, this was the peak for Star Wars toy collecting. And so that's why today we're going to be taking a look at two of the coolest Clone Trooper releases from all the way back in the 2005 release of Revenge of the Sith. On the left here we have the firing Jetpack Clone Trooper. Looking at this guy, obviously has that cool jetpack with some missiles and like a cool sniper rifle scope here too. Very, very nice. This is one that I had growing up, and so I saw the opportunity to get it again for this review and I had to do it. But the other one here is one that I always wanted growing up and I never could get. And it's a little hard to see on camera, but it's the Utapau Shadow Trooper. And looking up close here, you can see it is a black and gray pretty much 212 Trooper with a red visor. So just like one of the coolest Clone Trooper designs literally ever. And yeah, I just cannot believe that we don't get cool Clone Troopers like this anymore. Hasbro just used to be so unique and innovative when it comes to like coming up with Clone Trooper designs, because obviously both of these were not in the movie. They may have shown up somewhere else, like in some kind of pre-production images or some kind of like character encyclopedia, but they weren't actually in the movie. And so chances are Hasbro probably just made up these designs and said they're gonna make great toys. And honestly, they do, and that's something that we just don't see nowadays when it comes to Star Wars figures. My channel is a Star Wars The Black Series channel, so looking at the Black Series, Hasbro does repaints all the time of just like stupid random figures. And it just makes me wonder, why don't they do a Clone Trooper repaint line? Give me the Shadow Utapau Trooper in Black Series. There are countless designs for Clone Trooper designs that we've seen on screen that haven't been made as action figures yet, and that's not even breaking into the possibility of them just making up their own designs, kind of like this Utapau Shadow Trooper. And that's just one of the reasons why I feel like these 2005 figures are so peak and it's really hard to beat them. So enough yapping from me, let's go ahead and get these guys open. We are going to start here with the firing Jetpack Clone Trooper. Nice big bubble. They would never make a bubble this big anymore, just because I'm sure it's like a whole lot more expensive to ship, and it probably is just like takes up a lot of space in the box too. Got it out of the box. In the box we've also got the instruction manual, so that's pretty cool. And of course we have the pamphlet that kind of shows off like all the other figures released at this time too. These are really cool, and I wish they did more of that stuff nowadays too. Anyway, we'll see how easy this is to get out of the box. But of course I used like freaking metal wires to keep these guys in, so it's gonna be kind of hard to get them out. So first impressions out of the box, this blaster is super cool. It's like a clone sniper rifle almost. I don't know if we've ever seen this blaster in canon, but like it's super cool, and I like I said, it's just Hasbro doing unique things like this I'd love to see more of. But I have to say, I know this thing has been in the box for 20 years now. It is sticky. Like the plastic is sticky. I don't know why it's sticky, but it's low-key disgusting. I've opened a bunch of stuff from like 2005 Revenge of the Sith, and nothing has like felt sticky and grimy and dirty like this. Look at the space in between his hand here. It has like the rubber band that's supposed to keep it in place, which is just like at this point disintegrated to time. And it just kind of leaves this yellow residue. But of course, that is the caveat to opening up 20-year-old figures. We do have the jetpack here, and I believe the wings come down like this. And then you can fit the rockets in like so. You can stick the jetpack on, and so there we go. Here is what the Jetpack Clone Trooper looks like when it's not in the flight mode, quote unquote. And if you want to put it into the flight mode, you hit that here and the wings fly out. Definitely some like Buzz Lightyear style wings, but like this is so cool. Like I loved this thing as a kid, and so it's just unique, cool things like this that I feel like Hasbro's really missing out on nowadays. Like, obviously, a lot of action figures nowadays are not meant for kids. They're meant for, like, adult collectors. But just, like, look how cool of an idea this is. Obviously, this is an idea made for a kid, but it's just so cool. Now, as far as the rockets go here, I don't know how to shoot them. Like, I figured the red button would shoot them, but I don't know. The instructions say, press the end of each projectile to fire. Like, I know these things are old, so yeah, I'm guessing the springs just don't work how they used to. That's my guess, is that it's just not, the springs inside, the mechanics have not held up to what they've needed to hold up to. So, oh, that one worked. How did I do that? But yeah, overall, this is just like a super fun throwback to something I had when I was a kid. And they just don't really make it like they used to, because this is, I just accidentally shot that one off. I didn't even mean to shoot that one off. This is just cool. I really like this. Next up, we're going to be opening up the Utapau Shadow Trooper. This bubble's definitely yellowed a lot over the years. Like I said, it has been 20 years, but we are going to go ahead and get it open. Ooh, yeah, that's super yellow. Even the bubble inside has yellowed. Look at that. You can see the outline from the super articulated logo where it's not yellowed, but everything else around it has. As you can see, that's super just gross. Again, the caveat to opening 20-year-old figures. There we go. We got him out of the box. And this one is definitely hard to pick up on camera. And honestly, I think that's great because, of course, it's the Shadow Ops. It's not supposed to be easy to see. And so, even under my big, bright, white studio lights here, it's kind of hard to pick up on camera. And that's just kind of, it's cool because, again, these are supposed to be a Shadow Ops special unit of the 212th. And as you can see, it's doing that job great. Obviously, I'm going to crank up the brightness and everything so you guys can see just fine on camera, but this is such a cool design for a 212 Trooper. Of course, it does have that red visor, which is just super sleek, super cool, and just something that's really unique. We don't really see kind of stuff like this anymore in the BlackSeries, so I love this trooper design. I also really like the gray accents to kind of show that 212th Battalion paint. It came out really, really nice. And it's definitely interesting because, of course, back in, 2005, there weren't really battalion names. It was just called, the Utapau Trooper, and so it is interesting to see that back from in the day. But yeah, this is just such a cool looking clone trooper. I'd love to see this in modern 6-inch BlackSeries. Of course, this one is claimed to be a super articulated trooper, so we're going to test that articulation here. The head is on a ball joint, so lots of range of motion there. Arms can get up into a T-pose, and they can actually get a whole lot farther, which is nice. Of course, the arms are going to go all the way around. Can get to about 90 degrees there at the elbows. And then we are going to have swivels at the hands. And then you're going to have a swivel and an up and down at the abs. Now the legs aren't quite as super articulated. You can kick up about that far. His knee can bend about that far. And then of course he does have swivels and pivots at the feet. So honestly, for a figure that came out in 2005, articulation is amazing. It's really weird to see the steep decline in articulation that happened after 2005. Even the 2008 Clone Wars figures were less articulated, and then we got into the 2013s, 2014, 2015 figures going into The Force Awakens, and they pretty much switched it back to 5 POA, which is just crazy to me. And so yeah, figure released in 2005 is a lot better than figures released 10 years later. And that's something that I love. I love how articulated this is, how much fun this thing would have been to play with as a kid. So yeah, these 2005 Revenge of the Sith figures really are just so peak. So yeah, overall, I'm just so impressed with how well these hold up to today's standards, especially with articulation, playability, design. Overall, these are just great toys. They're great action figures, and of course, they hold up to today's standards. I feel like today's standards have really just fallen so much when it comes to action figures and toys like this, so that whenever you look at a lot of these 2005 figures, they're so good, and I really think ever since then, in 2005, action figures have slowly been going downhill. And that's why I believe without a doubt that the 2005 Revenge of the Sith line was the peak of action figure collecting. But let me know down below, do you guys like these figures? Did you have these growing up? Did you ever want them? Let me know down in the comments below. These are some of my favorite ones I've ever reviewed here on the channel. Of course, I do have some other Revenge of the Sith reviews already up on the channel, so make sure to go check those ones out. And we've got quite a few more Revenge of the Sith reviews coming in the future, so stay tuned for that as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, the like button, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one.